Welcome to Crafting with Bowdabra. In this video, we'll go over all of the basics for making beautiful hand-tied bows, so you can begin immediately crafting and creating with your Bowdabra. You'll be amazed at the wonderful bows you can create. You'll never pay outrageous prices or settle for store-bought bows again. There are 3 types of bow making techniques you'll learn in this video, and they will be the foundation for thousands of variations and styles. The possibilities are endless, limited only by fabrics, materials, and your imagination. The 3 basic techniques I'll be showing you today are the scrunch, the fold, and the fold and twist. Remember, this is a video, so you can stop, rewind, learn at your own pace. Now, are you ready to have fun and become a creative, bow-making wizard that will amaze your friends and family? Let's make some bows. The first step when you're making any Bowdabra bow is to take your Bowdabra bow tie or your Bowdabra wire. Anything that you'd use to tie a regular hand-tied bow will work in Bowdabra. I like to use the Bowdabra bow tie or wire because I find it easy. So I'll take my Bowdabra bow tie and lay that down into the Bowdabra. Then I'm going to take some of my metallic scrunch to make a scrunch bow. But you can use pretty much any material you like. You can use tulle or even paper towels if you want it. And I'm going to start and just scrunch it right down into the Bowdabra. And it's a very simple movement. You just lay it in and keep pulling it down until you get all of the material in. Then I'll take my Bowdabra bow wand, and I'm just going to take the wand and scrunch that down on the bow. Take the wand out, and then I'm going to just tie a knot. And once I've tied a knot, then I'm going to pull my bow out. Now you could actually, on some bows, you can tie the second knot while it's still in the Bowdabra, but here I've just chosen to tie it once I take it out of the Bowdabra. Then what you'll have is a really pretty little scrunch bow, just like the one that we have on this bottle over here, and it's just great. You just fluff it out a little bit and you're good to go. Now we're going to make another scrunch bow. I'm going to take my Bowdabra bow tie and lay that down into my Bowdabra. After I've laid it into my Bowdabra, then the next step I'm going to do is take about a 13-inch piece of my metallic scrunch, and I'm going to scrunch that down into my Bowdabra. I've got 3 13-inch scrunch pieces that I'm using right now. What we're going to do is combine them to make a really cool little scrunch bow. But one thing you can remember is you can use any kind of material. I love the metallic scrunch because it looks so pretty and it's really cool to work with. But the more ribbon that you use, the puffier your bow is going to be. Then you take your wand and scrunch it down. And then what you're going to do is take your Bowdabra bow tie and tie it off. And here I'm just going to tie a single knot, but you might want to double knot it. It's totally up to you, but I'm going to tie it right onto a package so I don't feel like I really have to. And you have a great little scrunch bow. Another great use for the Bowdabra is making hair bows. What I'm going to do is show you a very simple method using your scrunch bow. First, again, we just take a piece of our bow tie and lay that down the center of the unit. What I'm using here is tulle. It's a great material. First, I'll take a little sheet of the pink tulle and I'll just slide that right in, scrunch it down. Then I'll take some of the blue and we'll just scrunch that right down in there. And I will take a piece of the pink and we scrunch that right down in there. And it's so simple. Your little girls will love making bows to match all of their outfits. Then again, we just tie it off, fluff it out, but you need to, of course, whoops, don't forget to knot it like I just did, and we'll fluff it out, tie it to a little hair clip, and put it in the hair. Just like with your scrunch bow and the fold bow, the first thing I'm going to do is take some of my bow wire and fold it in half. Then I'm going to stick it down the center of the Bowdabra, and I'm going to take some material. Now the reason that we call it just a fold bow is because all I'm going to do is fold and push.
The first thing I'll do is look at how long a tail I want. If I want my tail to be short, then I'll start and push here. If I want a longer tail, then I'll push here. I think that for this bow that I'm going to make my tail about that long. And it's just whatever you think is the right size for the bow you're making. All I'm going to do here is just push it right in and down. Then I'm going to fold back and push. And I'm going to fold it and push. And I'm going to fold it. And about every 3 loops that I fold, I'm going to take my Bowdabra wand, bring it in, scrunch it down, and then I'll start over. And I'm going to make as many loops as I need to make my bow whatever fullness that I've determined. And you'll learn by practice pretty much the size you want your bows to be. For this width ribbon, it helps to have about 3 to 6 loops on each side. And again, it just depends on the fullness you want. Just going to fold and push. And don't worry if your loops aren't exactly the same. Remember, we're making a hand-tied bow. And with a hand-tied bow, it's never going to be exact. And again, we're just going to push, and I'll make 2 more loops. And I'll push down there. It also helps if you determine exactly how long you want your ribbon before you start making it. Then you don't have to worry about twisting your bolt as you go along. And one more time, I'm just going to push down in there, take my wand, scrunch it down, and I'm going to clip my tail so it's equal to the tail on the other side. And I'm going to take the 2 ends, and again I'm going to take this end here, put it through my loop, and pull it up, and pull my bow out. Then I'm going to separate the 2 sides here, pull them around to the back, hold it tightly with my fingers, and I'm kind of pushing this there, and I'm going to twist the bow, not my hand. Always twist the bow away from you, and that'll hold the bow in place. Then I'm ready to fluff. Now when I fluff, the first thing that I'm going to do is kind of pull my tails downwards. And then, once I have my tails pretty much where I want them, and remember, you can play with it, I'm going to take my 2 hands and put them in the 2 back bows and fluff it apart. Then I'm going to go to the next bow and fluff it in an opposite direction. And I'm putting my whole hand in there to really fluff it full. And then I go again to the next one. Then I go to the other side and I do exactly the same thing. It's also easier if you tie the bow on a package before you puff it. Because remember, I'm puffing it out in the air, but when I'm on a package, I'm going to have a flat surface that's going to be pushing it forward, and it'll make it look puffier. But you can see how simple that is. You can save time by pre-making your bows, storing them in a plastic bag. Then, when you need the bow, take it out, puff it, and put it on your gift. Now what we're going to do is what we call the fold and twist bow. The reason that we need to fold and twist is because one side of the ribbon is the right side and the other side's the wrong side. And you want to make sure that the right side of the ribbon is always facing up. The first thing that you're going to do is determine how long a tail you want. So let's say we want our tail to be this long. Then I'm going to take my thumb and hold it right there, and I'm going to twist it. Then I'm going to push it down into the Bowdabra. Then what I'm going to do is make a loop on the other side, determine the size I want my loop to be, hold my thumb there, twist it, and push. So all it is a fold, a twist, and a push. It's very simple. Again, make my loop, hold my thumb, twist without moving this thumb, and push it down. And if your twist isn't exactly right, you can straighten it out when you get down into your Bowdabra. Then I'm going to make another loop, go back, fold it, and twist it. And now at this point I'm going to take my Bowdabra wand, scrunch it down so that I have a straight line here, bring my ribbon back over, fold it, and twist it. And again, the same step, bring it over, fold, and twist. Now one of the things that people like to do occasionally is to vary the lengths of their loops. I'm going to make mine all the same size this time, but if you're making a bow, you can start with a bigger loop and go smaller and smaller and smaller. Just depends on what you feel like you want the bow to look like. Again, fold and twist, and fold and twist. And we're going to fold and twist. And it's so simple. This would be a great bow for in a home, over if you wanted to accent a pillow, maybe accent a new floral arrangement that you got in. It makes a beautiful present. It also would look really pretty on the back of a plain dress. It's really whatever your imagination can come up with, you can do with a Bowdabra. Then we're going to take this apart again. Now, as we've mentioned before, this is much thicker than when you do your scrunch and even thicker than with your fold bow. So what I'm going to do here is twist it a little bit while I keep hold of these two ends so I don't lose my bow. And then I'm going to twist my bow away from me. And once it's secure, then I can fluff it out. And with the wired bow, you can really fluff it into exactly the shape that you want. For a perfectly coordinated bow for your hair or for the back of a dress, just use the excess hem material and it can make a gorgeous bow in Bowdabra. One of the great things about the Bowdabra is it does work with virtually any fabric or material. So you can take a wider fabric or a thinner fabric, and then you can also mix them together. What I'm going to do in this example is take a wide-inch tool, and I'm going to cut the tool and make a very wide scrunch bow. Actually, as you'll see when I'm doing this, I'm just going to push it down in, and of course I've already put my bow cord in. And if I wanted, I could actually make a really pretty big scrunch bow that could go on the top of the gift just like this. But what I'm going to do is take it one step further. I'm going to scrunch it down, and I'm going to take 2 pieces of acetate and layer them, one blue and pink, basically going on a baby theme. And I'm going to twist, push down, fold it, twist and push. And again, it's just fold, twist, push. And you can make this as big or as little as you like, just depending on the size of the gift that you're making and how elaborate you want your bow to be. And then you just scrunch it down here, lift it out. Again, I'm going to bring my string up, bring it through, puff it out. And once I've pulled it out of the center, I'm going to again bring this around to the back and grab these 2 pieces in my hand to make sure that I hold on to my bow. And just like in the other bows, we've got it very thick here. While holding both strings in my hand there, I'm going to twist it around. Again, go to the back and tie my knot. Then what I'll do is I'm going to obviously clip my tail to the length, and on this one I don't want a long tail. I want my tails to be the same length as my loops. And then you just puff out your loops by pulling the 2 colors, pink and the blue, in opposite directions, every other one. So on this one, my blue's going to go to the left, my pink to the right. Here, my pink to the left, blue to the right. And you just alternate it and puff the whole thing out, then puff the back out. And when you're done, you'll have a bow that looks very similar to this bow here that we've made. Hunt for bargains at fabric stores. All the little pieces of leftover ribbon and fabric that nobody wants will make beautiful bows in your Bowdabra.
Now I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful eucalyptus swag that you can put over a door or over your mantle or anywhere where you just want to add a little color to your decor. You can pick any ribbons that will match with the eucalyptus and your home decor. What we've done is picked a beautiful blue and gold ribbons, and what I've started here is I've put my Bowdabra wire down in my Bowdabra. Then I took about a 1/4 pound of eucalyptus, and I start laying the eucalyptus in just backwards and forwards. So I'll lay one off to the right and then one off to the left. And just put maybe about 3 inches in, just depending on how long you want your swags to be. Continue to just lay it back and forth into your Bowdabra. And then once you've completed laying all of your eucalyptus in, Then we're going to take our Bowdabra wand and just compress it down. And then I'm going to take the ribbon in the color scheme that we've chosen. And we're going to combine the two together. And I'm just going to twist it and go back and forth as I make my bow. And again, you can make your bow as big or as small, and this can be adapted using any kind of flowers, or if you wanted to use ivy inlaid across, whatever you feel like using and whatever you think will match with your decor. And then all I'm going to do here is I'm going to clip my ends and take my Bowdabra wand, scrunch it down into the Bowdabra, bring it through, tie it off. It's really wonderful how you can just put whatever it is that you want, lay it down in the Bowdabra, and you can have a beautiful design ornament or whatever it is that you want to put around your home. And just tie it off, and we'll fluff it out, and you'll have a beautiful swag for your mantle. Now what we're going to do is show you how to make a simple butterfly bow with a floral loop. And what I mean by the floral loop is the little loop that goes in the center. So if you have 3 loops on each side or 4 loops on each side, it centers off your bow. And then I'm going to show you another quick trick that we didn't teach you in the first video for putting your tails on, so you don't have to think about how long you're going to measure it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my material and take about 1.5 yards of my ribbon and take my Bowdabra wire, lay that down in the Bowdabra, then take my ribbon, fold it in half, and just lay it right flat down in the center, and that's going to be my tails. And just leave those there. Then what I'm going to do is take my other piece of ribbon, twist it, and put it in. And I'm going to make my bow probably about 6 inches, twist it, and put it in. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Twist it and then put it in. I'm going to graduate it in about 1.5 inches and make my second loop. And that's why we call it the butterfly, because of the way that it graduates in. And I'm going to continue going. And again, on the next loop, I'm going to graduate in 1 more loop, 1 more inch, and the same thing on the left side. Twist it. And then to make my center loop, all I'm going to do is make a loop 1/2 the size of this loop, and just scrunch it right down into my Bowdabra. Take my wand, compress it down, tie it off, pull it around to the back, and just like we make all of our other bows, twist it, and we're just going to fluff it. And you'll fluff it by starting with my center loop and fluffing that so it's in the center here, and then fluff this one and this, and just bring your tails around, and you have a beautiful bow. And now what we're going to learn to do is how to decorate up a chair. On the chair that we show you, we've thrown a white drape over the chair and then decorated it. But you can just take your own dinner chair and tie the ribbon on with the technique that I'm going to show you. So let's get started making our chair bow. The first thing that we did for our chair is take a piece of wired ribbon that will wrap around the chair. And actually, it doesn't have to be wired ribbon, but I would definitely take a number 40 and tie that so that your knot is in the back of your chair. Then what we're going to do is take our Bowdabra bow tie and lay our ribbon into the Bowdabra. And again, we're using the tail trick that we learned at the beginning of the video. So now you have your tails, and they're laid evenly in there. Then we're going to take the matching ribbon, and we're going to make our bow. And we're just going to make our loops and fold it back and forth. And again, depending on the chair and the decor that you're using, you can adapt it. You can even make a different bow if you have remnants and things that match with your fabric around your room. You can make a different bow for each chair, so they don't all have to match exactly the same. Then what I'm going to do is take a rose and just lay it down in the middle and tie it off. It's very, very, very simple. And you can use any flowers that you have. You can use fresh or silk, and bring it around to the back, twist it off, And then we'll just tie it onto the ribbon that we already tied onto our chair, and you'll have a beautiful chair decoration for your table. And the next thing that we're going to learn to make is this beautiful little party favor. And all we've done here is taken a piece of wire mesh that's probably about 8 inches wide. I take a piece of my Bowdabra wire or your bow tie and lay it down into the Bowdabra. And I'm going to roll up so that I make a little pouch. And I'm just going to scrunch the pouch one end into the end of the Bowdabra, and I'm going to take a little mini rose spray and lay that on top, and I'm going to form the end of my pouch and just tie a little knot here. Then what I'm going to do is pull it out, and I'm going to take some little candies and just throw those inside here. It's really very simple. Little Hershey's Kisses are nice. And again, you can use tulle or any kind of ribbon that, and I better throw my bow wire in there. I'm not going to have anything to tie it off with. Lay that down in there, and then I'm just going to scrunch that down in there and take my rose spray and put it on the other side. And actually, this idea is a nice little gift if you wanted to take potpourri and put it in and make it for somebody, or take a bar of soap. These little pouches make wonderful little gift wraps for a nice little hostess gift if you're going to someone's house. And then you would just clip your ends, and you have a nice little party favor that someone can take home with them. And the next thing that we're going to learn to do is how to do our napkin place setting. And we've just put this napkin here on a little plate, and I'll show you how we made it. First thing that I'm going to do is take my bow tie. And the other thing is, remember, your children would love to help you out with these things. So invite them to come and help you and work with you while you're making all of your table decorations. So I lay my Bowdabra wire into the Bowdabra. I'm going to take my napkin, and I'm just going to diagonally scrunch the napkin right into my Bowdabra. Then what I'm going to do is take my magic metallic scrunch and just scrunch that on in. And I'll take a little piece of ivy and lay that in. And again, I'm using silks because that way it can be done ahead and I don't have to worry about it going bad. And then I'm just going to twist back and forth and make a little bow for the center. And again, like we do with everything else, we just pull it through and bring it around to the back and twist it, and you just set it on your plate and you're good to go. Now what we're going to learn to make is this beautiful little corsage. It's really very simple. First we'll take about 2 yards of I'm using a wired sheared ribbon, and I'll take my bow wire and I'll lay that in there and take my ribbon, and again just make little tiny loops until you finish your bow, and just folding it back and forth, really very simple. Do this. And just make these for all of your guests or whoever, maybe the bride's mother and grandmother. And then I'm going to take my pearls and just sort of lay them across in the Bowdabra, my little mini spray pearls, and then take my roses and lay those down in, and take my wire, pull it through my loop, pull it out, and just sort of adjust your roses and your spray, and then just pin the corsage on and you're good to go. Now what we're going to do is learn how to make these beautiful little wedding favors. And they're just very simple. At your craft store you can pick up these little champagne glasses. They come in packages, I think, of like 6 or 8 of them. And then you'll pick up your little mini rose sprays, and there's 6 little roses on this spray, and of course your Bowdabra bow tie and a piece of your magic metallic scrunch, and then some little kisses or whatever candy you want to put in it. First I'll take my Bowdabra bow tie and lay that into the Bowdabra. Then I'm just going to take my little party favor and lay that right into the Bowdabra. Take my magic metallic scrunch and lay that right in there.
And take my roses and lay those. Take my tie it off, bring it around the back, and make a knot. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and curl your ribbon. Oops. And you have your little kisses. Put them in the top here.
And you've got a great party favor your guests will love.
Thanks so much for watching. Bowdabra is almost unlimited when it comes to creating beautiful bows to accent so many aspects of your life. Future videos will show specially designed bows for even more uses than you've seen here. Special events, baby gifts, party decorations, floral, fashion, interior design, gift baskets, and much, much more. I hope you've enjoyed the time you've spent as much as I've enjoyed showing you the fun and ease of Bowdabra. I wish you hours of fun ahead.
For more information on Bowdabra, ribbons and supplies, or the other videos in our Bowdabra instruction series, call 702-898-3839 today.